You know, there really are no mistakes, right? Chad and Gabrielle sent me that song, and I was like, oh, that's dark. I love it. And then it's like, it's perfect. It's perfect for Advent faith. Because that's really it. That's the place we're being invited to sit with, right? I know that in our teaching sometimes, positivity and positive living and all of that is true. But that doesn't mean that we ignore the painful places in the world, in our hearts, in our life. But the teaching is about how do we hold that so that it doesn't just suck us into oblivion. And that song captured so beautifully that dance that we're all being invited into. So as was mentioned in the Advent reflections, Unity has the 12 powers, right? It's our capacities, and when all 12 of them are activated and working together beautifully, we reveal the Christ consciousness that we are. So faith is the foundation of all of it. Faith is the beginning of everything. And so in Unity, we understand faith as our ability to believe, intuit, and perceive. And believe part most of us get, and maybe even the intuit part, but the perceive part is really important because we are meaning-making machines, aren't we? And so the perception that we have of something, the question is, where is it rooted? Where is the perception that we might have rooted? So faith is our power of belief, and it's a state of readiness and expectancy, right? It's inviting us into something. And so one of the questions I would invite you to ask yourself this week, every day when you wake up, is, what am I expecting? What am I expecting? What do I believe today is going to be? And just listen, really listen. Don't just pretend and slap an affirmation on top of something that isn't really true, right? Oh no, I believe today is going to be the best day ever. Do you really believe that? Don't lie to yourself, because it doesn't do any good. The point of affirmations is to help us shift our consciousness. So what can you truly believe? What can you truly know? What can you truly expect? And then maybe push it just a little bit further. Paul Hasselbeck, one of my teachers, calls that the adjacent possible, right? Like, get to the edge of what you think is possible and then take it just a little bit more. Eric Butterworth says that faith is our spiritual capacity to form and shape the very substance of all. I love Butterworth. He just had a way of sort of nailing it, right? In 9 words, there it is. So let's break it down a little bit. So form, what he means by form and what we understand in Unity is that's what something looks like in the outer world. That's the form. So it's our relationships, it's our job, it's our bodies, it's the institutions that we live within, it's the weather, it's history. We're seeing how people are trying to change history because it is a form, right? It is a form. Substance is the spiritual essence that underlies all form. So substance is divine love, it's life, it's wisdom, it's order, it's abundance, it's joy. Can you feel the difference between form and substance? So form is always changing. So frustrating that it does that, isn't it? But it's what we call mutable. And substance is eternal. Substance is immutable. And so when we have a crisis of faith, usually what's happening is that we are wrestling with impermanence. We are wrestling with the fact that form is always going to change. Our bodies are going to get older, right? The relationships that we have are going to continue to always change and shift. And that can be really hard. All of a sudden, the sense of loss, that something is lost, that grief is real. So, what Unity is inviting us to understand, and I just came off of a week-long Buddhist retreat on grief, so I'm going to be throwing in some Buddhist stuff here too. As things change and dissolve or end, life is actually not falling apart. What if impermanence is actually a signpost of spiritual evolution? What if it's not a sign of divine absence? Because that's often where we go. We immediately go to, there's nothing here that's good, because what I know is good is not here. We are continually being invited to embrace this idea that things are always going to change. And our perception of that change is what defines our experience. So I'm at Spirit Rock, right? And I don't know how many of you have ever been on those long retreats, but I will say that everyone I have ever been on, you get your mat, you get your space, and it's your space, right? Like, you don't have much control over anything during a retreat because they're ringing bells and you're showing up and you're moving where you're supposed to move, but your mat is your mat, right? So I'm sitting on my mat, and I've shared my challenges with chronic pain and stuff with my back, and so, I am a fidget monster while I'm trying to sit on my mat, because they were doing 45-minute sits at a time, and it was from 6 a.m. until 10 p.m., and, it was long, right? It was asking something. And so by day 4, I stood back and I looked at my mat, and I must have had 20 cushions on my mat. And I had basically built a chair on my mat. I mean, it was hilarious. And I was like, okay, I need to start all over again. What if I start anew? So that evening, for some reason, at 10 o'clock, we're done, and I just had this burst of energy. So I went back in to try to sit again, and I thought, well, let me experiment with my setup. Now, what everyone does, so that when you come in to sit at 6 a.m., you just kind of sit, everyone, before they go to bed, puts everything where it's supposed to be for the next morning. So I had done that with my 20 cushions, and I walk back in and I look at my mat, and 2 of my cushions are missing. One of them is my personal cushion that I brought with me, right? And 2 of them are missing. I cannot tell you the thing it sort of set off, right? So, clearly what my crisis of faith has been not feeling safe in the world right now, right? I've shared this, that I'm really adept at navigating what's going on in the world, and I'm very adept at navigating what's going on in my own life. It has been challenging to navigate what's going on in the world and what's going on in my life when they kind of collide the way they've been colliding. So it's about safety. It really has been about, do I feel safe? Do I feel safe? Does my wife feel safe? What's going on in this world? And that's what got triggered, right? That's what got triggered within me, that I wasn't safe. But I don't want to believe that I'm not safe. So I'm looking at my mat and I'm thinking, okay, somebody and I'm looking around. Now, this is the other thing about being on retreat. You know the people around you. You never talk to them, but you know them. You know how they sit. You know what cushions they use. You know them very intimately. And so I know they don't use that little tiny little cushions. I know they don't use those cushions. And I'm looking around, and I don't see them on their setup. And then I look 2 rows over and 3 people over, and I see one of them sitting there, just in the middle of the aisle. So I go and I pick it up, and of course it's not mine. It's the one that belongs to Spirit Rock, which has like a tag on it that says property of Spirit Rock. Which of course triggers a whole thing, right? I'm like, okay, so Spirit Rock had to label every single cushion because people take them, right? I mean, this is where my brain is going, right? So I come back over, you all know me, right? When I get fixated on something, especially day 4 of a silent retreat where there is just me and my stuff, I'm like, okay, where is that cushion? Now, we had set up the space. You guys, this is like almost TMI, right? But we had set up the space in a circle, and so there was this whole ritual that when you were in the space, you had to go counterclockwise. You had to go clockwise, walking through the space, always clockwise. So what do? This is about perception. Remember, I am perceiving something, and it is creating my experience. I start walking clockwise. There are about 5 rows. I'm walking through the back one, and then the next one, and then the next one, and I'm doing it all clockwise because I don't want to break the mojo in the room, and I'm looking for my cushion. And I get all the way around, and I'm like, all right, I don't know where it is. It's not here. Okay. So I sit, and I just say, I'm letting it go. But I can't let it go. So in my head, I'm like, do I write the teachers a note? Because you can't talk to anybody, right? I'm like, do I write the teachers a note and just say, if somebody picked up a cushion that didn't have a tag on it, it actually belongs to somebody? I wake up the next morning, welcome to my inner world, right? I wake up the next morning, I go to sit on my cushion, and it hits me like a ton of bricks. Oh, I have a choice here. I can believe that someone in this Sangha stole my cushion. Or I can believe that they didn't steal my cushion. I have a choice here. I am creating my own experience. One makes me feel unsafe. The other one doesn't impact my sense of safety at all. And then all of a sudden, I expanded it to the political world. And I was like, am I going to let one person's actions, 1 million people's actions, 2 million people, am I going to let them decide what I know about the world? I believe in the goodness of the world. I believe in the goodness of each one of us. I had the best sit ever. I opened my eyes, and what is sitting right there? My cushion. I have no idea where it came from, but there it was, and I just started cracking up. But can you see how what I had faith in was impacting my experience in that moment? And nothing that I was thinking was like irrational or was like normal thinking, right? But it wasn't useful. And it didn't support my living a more free, full, integrated life. And so I loved that the way that lesson came to me was with something as insignificant as a meditation cushion. Because I could see it, right? I wasn't really that invested in the cushion. I can always buy another cushion. The lesson was in something that didn't have me super triggered. So I was able to actually hear it. So faith forms substance, whether it's active or passive. Your faith is active in your life no matter what. It's not something you have to turn on, it's already on. But what is it that you have faith in? Do you have faith that the Sangha isn't safe? Do you have faith that somebody stole your cushion? Or would even want to steal your cushion? Why would anybody want to steal the cushion? Whether it's active or passive, your faith is forming substance. And that is what is creating the very experience that you are having. And it can be hard sometimes, and this is why we need the Sangha. This is why I think I was being so impacted by my sense that the greater Sangha of the world isn't safe. It's because we need the Sangha. We can't do this alone. It's not possible. We're not built that way. So Myrtle says, but my faith, so she had a moment of crisis of faith and wasn't sure about the healing of her body temple. And Myrtle says, but my faith and the faith of those who could see a little further than I helped to hold me steadfast. I reasoned that my past experiences had not been satisfying, that I could at least turn my mind to new ideas and give them a thorough trial. What a concept. Right? The places where you're experiencing struggling, the places where you're experiencing suffering, the places where things are not working. Oh, what if I shift? What if I am coming from an understanding that all is love? What if I'm coming from the place that everything is for me, even the stuff that doesn't feel like it? My cushions disappearing was so for me. And I actually do believe that what's happening in this world right now is all about the evolution of consciousness. It's all about more good showing up in the world. It is all about healing things that are desperately crying out to be healed. So what do you choose? Love or fear? Joy or despair? Peace or anger? And that's a big one right now, the peace or anger one. Because really the truth is, when we meet anger with anger, guess what we get? More anger, right? We need to meet the things. Anger is just a symptom of fear, right? It's just a symptom of fear. And the antidote for fear is our faith. Our faith that things are actually supporting the greatest goodness that is revealing itself as each of us individually and as a collective. And that we have a role to play. And that my energy would be better spent not circling, looking for where my cushion had gone, right? That was a tremendous amount of energy. But I could have spent that energy in other ways. In ways that were, now I did keep the clockwise going. So I was putting my energy into keeping the space sacred. But I could have done even more than that. Can you feel that? So let's take this into our time of meditation. But I really want you to sit with peace, anger, love, faith, fear. Where are you choosing from? Where are you perceiving from? Is it from a sense of being cut off and alone? Just look around before we close our eyes. Just look around. We are so not alone. We're not alone. So let's just breathe into this place. I'm going to invite us this image. I just love her. I don't know if JD's going to get her back. But the idea that we're dreaming into being something, that we have that power through our faith to actually form substance. And we want to form from love. We want to form from joy. We want to form from peace. So take a breath. Just allow your heart to open and to connect up with the heart energy in the room. Remember, your heart energy is 360 degrees. It's in front, it's in back, it's in the sides, it's above you, it's below you. Just feeling the connection of the heart space. Feeling the connection with this beautiful land that we are blessed to be the caretakers of. Feeling the love that is in these very walls, the love that is available right now. And just allow yourself to rest The scripture says, lay your burdens down. Oh, just allow yourself to rest. And that doesn't, right? It's like that's a form, it's coming and going. Whatever that was. Perfect time to practice. Oh, but what if we could meet all of those alerts that go off with laughter? Right? Just knowing. Just that deep knowing. So faith is not something we need to strive for. It's not something we need to reach for. Faith is right here. Our capacity to be with love and to let that renew and resource us. For our choices, for all that we are saying yes to, for it to arise from laughter and joy and a sense of wholeness. So just rest here for a few minutes. Just rest. Be still and know for a few minutes in the silence. And I invite you to once again just connect up and share that well-being with each other. Share that well-being with those who are watching on the live stream. Share that well-being with the world. Just feeling the effortlessness of our true nature and our true name, the I am. That we all are. And so it is. Amen. Ashe. So our affirmation for today is, I love you. I activate my faith anchored in spiritual truth and open to my limitless potential. Can we know this together, please? I activate my faith anchored in spiritual truth and open to my limitless potential. And so it is. Thank you, everybody.